So first car up today is a beautiful 1953 Austin Somerset. This vehicle's just had 3 owners, and the current owner even has the original purchase invoice and some super history. Appears to have spent many years off the road from the 70s right the way through to 2014, and then was recommissioned heavily by the previous owner. Let's take a look at this one. A few updates in terms of an electric fan. And this one's been beautifully retrimmed inside as well. It's had quite a bit of time, effort and money spent on it in the past. Super looking car. So here's a 1965 Cortina Mark One, unbelievably bought from a scrapyard 37 years ago for £50. I think it's worth a bit more than that. The owners recommissioned it. It's only got one prior keeper before the current owner. That's fantastic, isn't it? And there's no shortage of space in this engine bay, which is lovely, isn't it? Plenty of space to work on it, and in absolutely mint condition. And look at the pouch for the washer bottle instead of a washer bottle. I've rarely seen that. I think some other cars have that, but I've certainly not seen that for a while. And look at those ban the bomb rear lights. I'm pretty sure that some TVRs use those lights back in period from the Ford parts bin. So the owner's invited me to take a look inside, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity. The door cards are original, the seats have been retrimmed, but sympathetically retrimmed, and pretty much you wouldn't know unless you were told that, basically. And that beautiful thin rimmed steering wheel. Now, I've seen this car a couple of times. It's a pretty standard Mercedes W201 190e, but it's a lowrider fitted with air suspension. Lovely colour, isn't it? So here we've got a lovely Capri 280. This will be one of the run-out cars, I guess, in that Brooklands green. Now this one's nicknamed the Other Woman, so it's clearly got quite a place in the owner's life. Looks like it's got a Tickford body kit. I'm going to have a look at this a bit more closely. It certainly looks reminiscent of the Tickford cars. So short of a Sierra or Escort Cosworth, I don't think I've seen a whale tail as big as that for a while. It certainly stands out, doesn't it? Now the giveaway with this Sierra is it's an XR8, and it helpfully tells me it's a South African imported vehicle, and it says it's from Motors Ford in Cape Town. So any South Africans watching, if you can let me know if that's right. It certainly looks that way. I guess the giveaway with this car is the design at the front. So we didn't take that particular grille design in UK or certainly in Europe from what I can tell. Using the 5-cylinder engine shared with Ford at the time are these first generation Focus STs, this one in this signal orange. They had really had a distinctive warble. Lovely car. You certainly wouldn't lose this car in a car park, would you? Now, having briefly driven one of these, I can attest to the fact that they not only do they sound good, as I mentioned before, but they drive really well. Celebrating with a Swedish moose is this later Saab 9.3 convertible. So towards the back end in the GM ownership, sharing I think the platform that was a Cavalier stroke Vectra platform with GM at the time, is this lovely Saab. So from the back, I suppose you could argue it has a beige leather interior, so Lloyd Vehicle Consulting will be pretty happy about that one, I suspect. These cars are incredible value for money at the moment, and certainly if they go the way the early Saab 900s have, the pre-GM cars, I think they'll certainly grow in value. It's a lovely looking car, isn't it? So here we have a fantastic Rover Brm. Now these were built in relatively limited numbers probably around 130 or so survive. Some lovely features. We'll take a closer look. So it's fitted with a 145 PS VVC variable valve timing engine crammed in there. Not that much room there. Some lovely features like the fantastic BRM orange grille and this unique BRM badging. Now the owners very kindly opened this car up, and this beautiful quilted red leather interior is really quite lovely. And look at those distinctive features. I can't remember whether that's standard. Please comment if that's the case, looking at the gear lever. The rest of the car looks relatively standard. I think it's got an aftermarket stereo fitted, probably like all of us needing USBs to charge our phone these days. And it's in really lovely condition. We'll just go around the back and have a look at that as well, closer. And that quilted theme continues onto the door cards as well. That's lovely. So apart from the fitment of a relatively expensive stainless steel exhaust, this car's not had a lot of work according to the owner, who's had it for about 4 years. It's in lovely condition. Some of you may have seen probably a group of about 18 of these at the Pride of Longbridge. I'm sure there's quite a few vehicles are sawned and off the road, but it's a lovely little car. These bubble 200 series Rovers are really becoming collectible now. Now you're not going to see too many of these 1969 Galaxy 500s, especially in this colour. Isn't it a gorgeous colour? This sort of greeny blue, I'm not quite sure what you call it. It certainly looks lovely. The owners got the original bill of sale, and the car originates all the way from Pittsburgh. Sold on the 30th of the 9th, 1969. Fantastic to have that history, isn't it? Slowly getting the appreciation it deserves is this S-Type Jag, which you know was based on a Ford platform, but to be honest with you, it's still very distinctively a Jaguar. And very helpfully, the owners left the car open so I can see this beautiful black leather interior. Probably if there's a time to buy an S-Type Jag, it must be now. Well, they're so cheap. Now this looks like a 68-69 Capri Mark One. Oh, this is absolutely lovely. This is a car, apparently Ford said you always promise yourself. Let's take a closer look at it. The engine bay is absolutely immaculate. It's probably as clean here as it is outside. Plenty of space to work around it. It's had a huge amount of preparation looking at this. And that distinctive Capri fastback shape, it looks like it should be a hatchback, but certainly in the Mark Ones they weren't. And those very small tail lights. I wonder if those were the same ones used by the Mark One Escort. They look the same, don't they? Please feel free to put that in the comments if you don't mind. Taking a look inside, you've actually got quite a bit of space in that car, to be honest with you. More surprising than you think. And that lovely wood effect dashboard, the standard long wave and medium wave radio. I'm not sure what that'll pick up on today. Apologies about the background noise. We're in the flight path of Heathrow here. So this is a Panther Callista, this bespoke British sports car built just up the road in Surrey. Built initially, I think, with Vauxhall engines. This one's got the later Ford 1.6 CVH engine. And as the owner says, no two cars are alike, pretty much bespoke to the owner's requirements. I believe the doors on it came from a Mini. Let's have a look. Yeah, those look like Mini doors to me. Well, if they're not Mini, no, in fact, I correct myself there, they're Midget doors, I think, aren't they? MG Midget. So here's a 1947 Woolsey 1248 Mark III, and apparently genuinely used as a police car from new, so I'm not sure how this one survived. I'll try and find out. It's in lovely condition, isn't it? So here's a 1952 XK120 This is beautiful, isn't it? Launched in 48, I believe. This one has the early Moss gearbox, which I'm told is quite an art in it, being able to change gear in these. And no seat belts standard. So apparently speed might be quite a frightening experience in these vehicles, but it's beautiful, isn't it? Let's take a close look inside if we can. So this is originally a US car coming back to the UK via the Netherlands. It's absolutely beautiful inside, isn't it? As you would expect. Not a lot of room. As the owner says, if you're taller than Stirling Moss, then you might have struggled. And that gearbox is obviously an acquired taste, I believe. So this is a W126SL. I think in this Almudine red. It's a lovely colour, isn't it? Similar to one I saw at Brooklands, I think, a few weeks ago. Running just 15-inch wheels. You wouldn't find too many executive vehicles on that these days, would you? Oh, wipers on the lights. Weren't they all the rage at one time? And this is a 6-cylinder. It's a 300 SE, so probably, I guess, from memory, about 160-ish horsepower, maybe a bit more, possibly. And restored from the ground up with this absolutely lovely MG Midget. Restored a number of years ago and in absolutely brilliant order. This sort of Oxford blue colour. I'm sure the official British Leyland name was different, and feel free to drop that in the comments if you know. But it does look right, doesn't it? And these rubber bumper models are starting to get a bit more appreciated for what they are, a stage in MG's later development. It's P registration, so I guess that would be 75, 76. Not a huge amount of room, as you would expect. Cosy by today's standards, but absolutely lovely order inside. So this looks like it's a relatively late facelift, H-plated. What would this be, a late 89, maybe 90 car? Facelifted Mark IV Escort Xr3i. These look lovely. I think this was probably the end of the XRs, wasn't it? And those lovely lattice style alloy wheels. So the owner's invited me to have a look inside. So it's a long time since I've been in a Mark IV Escort. Too many years to remember. And look at that lovely velour type interior. Oh, I recognise that dashboard. The only change here is it's got the different head unit. This is a one owner from new car. Can you believe that? And it's got just 28,460 miles on the clock. That's glorious, isn't it? So it looks like we've got a 73, 74 Triumph Stag. You've got to love that T-bar roof there. These cars were maligned with engine issues back in the day, but they're far better understood today. Many of them had the Rover engine transplanted instead of the Triumph. Let's try and take a look inside. Fortunately, this one's open as well. Well, we've got a pretty good view of this one, haven't we? There's a little bit of space in the back. And taking a look around the inside again, you've got that sort of 70s wood feel. Lovely steering wheel. That 3-spoke steering wheel is really nice. There's quite a fair bit of room in the front of that car, and those seats look quite comfortable. Although I imagine if they're vinyl on a day like today, they might get a bit hot on the way home. So this is a, I would guess, 68, 69 Jaguar 420. So probably I think the 4.2 litre engine. I think it's as simple as that. Lovely colour. I might have seen this one at the Jaguar Drivers' Day recently. Let's go and have a look and see if we can see inside the car, shall we? Oh, those seats look comfortable. Look how big those seats are. They're like aircraft seats these days. And that super, super traditional Jaguar dashboard. And yet, If you could smell, you know this was definitely a Jaguar interior. That's good. Now viewers, I'm going to need some help with this one, this Austin. I can't see any information and I can't see the owner. And I can't quite work out what it is. I imagine it's pre-war, 20s, maybe late 20s, maybe 30s, I'm not sure. Answers in the comments please, that would be very, very helpful. Whatever, it's in absolutely beautiful order. From its running boards to its interior, and suitably bedecked for the Jubilee. Slightly out of my field of expertise is this Chevrolet Apache. Lovely, lovely pickup, isn't it? Lovely US pickup. Many of these have a rat rod look, but thankfully this one doesn't. I'm much more in favour of this restored look, or original. So we're going to start this one, we're going to start the Apache next, so let's have a listen to this one. Oh, that sounds good. Probably might sound even better. Wow. Just a lovely warble to it, hasn't it? So I'm going to have a look inside this one as well now and compare this. Oh, I love this blue painted body colour dashboard. Let's try and get up in this one if I can without falling over. Oh, well, it's a bit higher up, this one. This is gorgeous as well. I guess a column gear shift. And again, oh, look at those door cards and the seat. I'm not sure whether these are original, I'll check with the owner, but they certainly look good, don't they? And visibility is really good as well. And if you did need to load anything, you've got plenty of space in the back under that tonneau cover. And talking of pickups, we've got another one here. We've got a D-plated, so I guess that would be what, 66 Chevrolet. I'll try and have a chat with the owner and get a bit more information about this one. Looks lovely, doesn't it? So this 66 is a 4.7 litre Chevy C10 pickup. It's a matching numbers car, which apparently is very unusual. Both the block and the vehicle match. So really original car, sympathetically updated and in absolutely lovely condition. So the owner's given me the opportunity to have a look inside and have a sit in it. It's got a 3-speed column shift. I'm gonna have a sit in it. I might not sit in one of these again for a while. What's it like? Well, actually there's not a huge amount of room behind the wheel. I can just about fit in here. It's lovely, isn't it? There's not a lot in the way of sound deadening. I'm not sure whether that's how it left the factory. And a pretty good view over the load deck at the back, which is very handy if you're picking something up from B&Q, isn't it? So the owner's going to start this one up for us. Now by starting it up, probably these days, this cost us about £10, but it doesn't half sound good, doesn't it? Oh no, I hadn't realised it's on air ride, so you've got the best of both worlds really. Now it's more of a street view and down again. Doesn't that look good? Now I think this was the Harris man designed Austin Princess. This is a 79 with just 22,000 miles on it. It's an automatic. It's a lovely looking car. Very typically in that sort of 70s orange. The wedgie looks like it should be a hatchback, but I think the hatchback didn't arrive until the Ambassador, which was the follow-up vehicle, the heavy facelifted vehicle. And it looks to be original right down to its Unipart Princess mud flaps. What a lovely looking car. It's a Princess 2, so the second generation car. And it's a 1700 as you saw earlier, but an automatic. Now this is a Consul Capri. No, it's not a Lotus one because they didn't actually make one. I've seen this car before last year, I believe. But in actual fact, it's a superb recreation over how one may well have looked down to its green Lotus stripe, but it's still a lovely vehicle. The twin cam Lotus engine, or Lotus fettled engine I should say, and that lovely interior. This is the car that Ford and Lotus never collaborated on, but maybe they should have, folks. Looks lovely. And here's a Triumph. I think this one's a Herald stroke Vitesse because it's the 2 litre and I presume the 6-cylinder engine. I think so. And yes, it's the Vitesse with overdrive. Now this is a, I'm guessing a 63, it's a Humber Scepter, which was the mid-range Root Scoop product. So it had the 80 horsepower 1592cc engine, which actual fact for the day was a reasonable amount of power. So the owners very kindly let me just open the vehicle. Oh, lovely green door cards, a green interior. I'm a sucker for a green interior. Handbrake down by the driver's side, and I'm not sure if they're leather seats. There's no shortage of dials and chrome in there. There's probably a dial for everything. Amps, water, fuel. Wow, you've got the lot there. A nod to a modern radio. And another Focus ST, 53, so I guess that would be 2003, 2004. And an MGB Roadster, probably what, a 68, oh it's a 69 I can see, it actually says on the car itself. That one's a lovely colour, isn't it? I know these are popular cars, there's maybe about 10,000 of these still left in the UK, but they're still lovely cars, and difficult to imagine the production run that took it right the way through from I think 62 right the way through to 80 when the last cars came off the line when Abingdon closed. Lovely car. A later rubber bumper car is this 75 orange, and I'm desperately trying to think of the BL colour. It escapes me at the moment, so please feel free to comment on this one. And those rose style wheels. That's a nice car, isn't it? So here we go, a Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. This looks like it's a December 69, so a late 69 vehicle, and obviously a US market one because it's left-hand drive, or certainly a export market. I'm not sure whether this car came from Virginia, but certainly the plates seem to indicate it might have been there back in the late 1960s. I love that styling with those twin rear lights. Let's just try and get a close look inside that, because we don't see too many of these in the UK. Lovely interior. And even a small amount of storage space behind the driver, which is handy. Now I'm pretty sure this is the W114 generation, but I believe, I'm assuming, using the same logic, it should be a C114. So a pillarless coupe. And the thing that makes these cars, to me, is the fact that they don't have that B-pillar is missing. So you've actually got a really open car feeling. Although it's clearly not a convertible, or it's not a sunroof, you've certainly got a lovely open feeling to the vehicle, haven't you? So this is a 250 CE automatic. That sort of burgundy colour really suits it, doesn't it? And chugging away in front of me is this lovely Fiat 500 just leaving now. What a lovely little car. That'd be easy to park, wouldn't it? Towards the back end of the initial generation of Z cars is this Nissan, I think it will be a 300 Z. Let's have a look. I'll have to check that later whether it's a 300 or not. Looks like it's an 89 car anyway, at least I know that much. So the owners very kindly let me film inside the car. I love those seats. The leather was all the rage. The orange on black instruments. It's a UK car, I'm told. Looks very original. Looks like it's got air conditioning, which is handy. Absolutely lovely. And you've got me at pop-up headlamps. I'm in. And I'm presuming this is an AC Cobra replica. I'd be surprised if we're going to find a genuine one, but it's still a lovely car. Probably what fitted with a Rover V8, I'm guessing, maybe. And next door is a personal favourite of mine, a Volvo 144. My dad had one of these. This is a post facelift car. You see it's got the bigger bumpers and the indicators. They changed sort of 72, 73. This looks like it might be a 74 car. And I think this was the last major facelift before the 244 arrived. And you can see here where they've started to change the style and it's evolved into the snowplow Volvos that we knew from the next generation, although this was the 144 still. I do like these cars. And finally here, a Michelotti designed facelifted Triumph 2000. You can see the changes that Michelotti brought in to when he facelifted the car from the original Triumph 2000. Thanks again for joining me at the Frogs Island Classic Car Show. Please remember to like, share, subscribe and turn on notifications. It really would help the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.